We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom. My name is Armin Navabi.
And I'm Ali Sawani. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're getting a lot of statements out of the Islamic Republic. That's how you know they're hurting. Pezeshkian, Ghalibaf, all these people are coming out and saying new things, perhaps preparations for another round of negotiations. That seems like where we're heading if we're reading in between the lines here. If you listen to the mainstream media, they will tell you that we're geared to go back to war, and certainly some statements like that are being made by people like Marandi from the Islamic Republic, who say in the coming days we will be going back to war with the United States of America, where former economic ministers of the Islamic Republic predict that next month is going to be the month where both an uprising and a war will be happening. Some of the biggest pieces of news today is a couple of speeches made by the Islamic Republic paving the way for a possible round of negotiations with the United States of America, the troop buildup of the Islamic Republic on the southern coast of Iran, as well as an entirely new gas reserve found in Iran, a bunch of money. It's actually worth about $16 billion, the one that they found right now, and they predict that the rest of it will be worth over $144 billion once they excavate the rest. We'll get into that, along with some statements made by Prince Reza Pahlavi and the usual hypocrisy from the Islamic Republic, and statements from regime supporters. So, Armin, let's begin off with Washington, D.C. There was a statement made by, his name is Mike Johnson. He's the U.S. House Speaker, and he said something interesting today. Let me show you guys what he looks like, just to jog your memory. He said we're going back to, or not back to war, but perhaps a new phase of the conflict, and we're going to get there real soon. That's the United States House Speaker. I'll give you guys a bit more info on that. He said, quote unquote, I think we're going to get into a new phase here very soon. I believe our allied nations are going to assist in the next phase, and we'll get this finished. People know we took the head off the snake. We had to make sure the largest state sponsor of terrorism does not have a nuclear weapon. That was an objective of every administration for the last 50 years. Bullcrap. Donald Trump did it. So, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the United States Congress, is not someone who is a nobody. He probably has some information. There's a lot of information that needs to pass through him. And so that's got a lot of people thinking, especially when in the Islamic Republic, you'll also have people such as Marandi, or Professor Marandi, saying that in the coming days, it is very likely that the military conflict will be renewed. The United States' goal is to starve Iranian civilians, and therefore they will be severely punished. And he added that the global economy is on the verge of collapse. Now, obviously, just, from me to Marandi here, please shut up. And let's actually take a look at what the Islamic Republic officials are actually saying. And let's start off with this other Iran International post right here. When you read the headline here, you're like, oh my God. It says United States will abandon Iran blockade within months. And you're like, oh my God, why? Actually, that's made by a member of parliament in the Islamic Republic. And he said, the United States can't maintain the blockade for long. After a few months, when they realize it has no effect, they will abandon it. That was Ahmad Bakhshoyesh Ardestani, is a member of parliament of the Islamic Republic. That's funny. Armin, do you want to give him the reality of the situation here? He says, yeah, the Americans are going to give up their blockade after a few months, after they see it's not effective.
But it is effective. But why? Why would they? They're it is very effective. It's very effective, self-admittedly, by Ghalibaf, Pezeshkian, and Hemmeti, and Khatami, and Hassan Khomeini, and Rouhani, and Zarif, and many other regime officials. Your regime officials within your countries are admitting that they cannot take this any longer. And the United States is not paying a huge price for it, so why would they stop?
Correct. You guys can see just how intelligent the members of parliament of the Islamic Republic are. And let's take a look at what some other people. There was a huge gathering today. A lot of the top officials of the Islamic Republic, like the president on the left there, gathered to listen to a certain couple of speeches. Let's see what they have to say about this. Is this what they are talking about when they have to go back to negotiations? Let's see.
این فشاری که بر گرده کشور گذاشته شد از هر جهت، از هم محاصره دریاییش، هم بمبارانهاش در بخش‌های مختلف، کم مسئله‌ای نبود. حداقل در منطقه ما تا اونجا که ما سراغ داریم 1/10 این فشار میتونست دولت‌ها و نظام‌ها و ملت‌ها رو از بین ببره.
So he's admitting it. This guy, Armin, who is this guy? Who's he the grandson of?
He's the grandson of Ruhollah Khomeini, the first supreme leader and the founder of the Islamic Republic. And he is a so-called reformist and hated by the jihadi people. The most jihadi people of the Islamic Republic hate him.
So when he says that we are squeezed on all fronts here, is he perhaps trying to send a message, little by little to the other Durkas here?
No, Ali. He's talking about a love squeeze. We're being loved, okay? It's just like a love squeeze, like a love tap. Yes. No, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Armin, here he starts talking about how we might have to go back to negotiations or alluding to it. And look at Araghchi's face, guys. Look at the foreign minister's face. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I like this. I like this speech. I do want to go back to negotiations because, remember, he just wants it on his file. He wants to be known as the guy who made the great compromise that kept the Islamic Republic alive. Armin, I think you probably already went through this speech maybe on your Persian show. Can you give us a summary of why this is important?
This speech, okay, so there's a reason why this is important, but there's also a hidden message, Ali, for the regime supporters in there that the Westerners and the Israelis did not catch. All right. So the reason why this is important is because Hassan Khomeini, as expected, as being part of the reformers camp, is now heavily pushing in for peace with the Americans, right? Peace for the Americans. So that means that the people who are pro-negotiation, anti-escalation are going all out. They're coming out. Khatami is out. Khatam is coming out. Khomeini is out. So both sides are going all out and trying to present their case for their side, right? So on one side you have,
you're saying that the Islamic Republic is allowing these reformist traitors to come out and push the negotiation front. That's their use.
Yeah, well, there are two camps right now, and they're competing against each other to see which one will win, right? So one camp is the Wahidi Abdullahi Rezai camp that wants to go for all-out escalation against the Americans. One side is this guy's camp, the Ghalibaf, Pezeshkian, Hassan Khomeini, Mohammad Khatami, Rouhani, Zarif camp that want to go for full-on peace, capitulation, negotiation with the Americans. And then we have Araghchi, which keeps swinging side to side depending on who has the upper hand. So Araghchi belongs to both camps depending on which way the wind is blowing.
Exactly. So we're seeing this rise be even more than before.
But Ali, what about the hidden message?
What is the hidden message?
All right. So if you look at, because this guy, guys, these people have two audiences. One is for inside Iran, to say to the people inside Iran that, guys, look at us. We're the more reasonable, peace-loving ones. We don't want to go war. War is bad. Look at the economic devastation. We want to come, negotiate with the Americans and stuff, right? Then there is a second audience. There's three audiences, right? Second audience is the Americans. Americans, watch this. A peace-loving mullah. He's saying war bad. We need to have peace with the Americans. Okay, pick me as a more reasonable person. Trump, I'll be your Rodriguez. Trump, I'll be your Rodriguez. Okay, no need for regime change. Just you removed Maduro. You got Rodriguez in Venezuela. We could do the same thing here. Look at me. I want peace, right? So that's and to appeal to Trump, you have to appeal to Americans. Americans are like, this guy sounds more reasonable. Maybe we could go with this guy, right? But then there's a third audience. There's a third audience here. And if you understand what he's saying to them, then the Americans who are watching and the Israelis who are watching, because the Israelis didn't catch this either. I could show you on channel 14, the Israeli media at least. Then what they are saying is that, guys, peace now, conquering later, right? It's not so. This is the face of the peaceful moderates, right? So if we go to channel 14 and the clip that they posted of this, right? Let me see if he mentions it. So the channel 14 is saying the clear conquest is not tied to battles, but to peace treaty, right? So they're almost getting it, but they don't explain it completely, right? Saying, in a meeting with Iranian Foreign Minister, Hassan Khomeini, grandson of Iran's founding supreme leader, is urging the IRGC to step down and support a deal with the United States by referencing Islamic history in the Hudaybiyah peace deal. Okay, this is what, guys, if you know your Islamic history, you'll be like, I see what they're doing here, and I'll explain. He frames diplomatic compromise not as a defeat, but a strategic victory. This is the misunderstanding here. A strategic victory urging a shift by the regime towards diplomacy over greater jihad. That is wrong, channel 14. The victory is not in the diplomatic compromise. That's a misunderstanding of what is happening. If you know what the Hudaybiyah peace deal was about, then you would understand that the victory does not come from diplomatic compromise. The victory comes from the eventual conquest that you will do after you survive your enemy by doing a diplomatic compromise. And he explains it in a speech. He explains it. He makes it specific. He reminds you that Prophet Muhammad, he did peace with the Qurayshis when he didn't have the upper hand. That was the Hudaybiyah peace deal. So Muhammad was in Medina and the Quraysh tribe was in Mecca. And they did a peace deal, a 10-year peace deal. And then in 2 years, Muhammad raised an army and became stronger and stronger. And after 2 years, he came with an army to Mecca and conquered Mecca. That's what he makes clear in his speech. He said, look, Muhammad did a peace deal, and then he yet came and conquered his enemies 2 years after. That's what he's telling the jihadi people, that the peace deal does not mean that we're going to have peace with them. A peace deal just means that we will conquer them later. And that is the part, the Hudaybiyah peace deal. That is the reference that you have to understand. That the so-called moderates and reformers, they're not saying we will not destroy the Americans. Their moderation is that right now it's not the time. We have to do it later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Islamic Republic and Islam in a nutshell. If we're weak, let's negotiate. If we're strong, go kill everyone. That's what he's saying. See that flag in the corner? That is now the position of the Islamic Republic. That is what they're gearing up to do. All the statements you guys see recently that we've covered today, yesterday, these big statements coming out, things like this. When you hear the Islamic Republic's president Pezeshkian saying everyone must stand behind the Iran-United States MOU, they're gearing back to going towards that. I mean, look who's right next to him. It's the guy who gave the speech on the left. These are the people. None of them are any different from the other. The one who wears the turban on the left is no different from the one in the middle. They both will shake your hand while they're weak, and as soon as you turn your back, they will stab you in the back. It is literally Islamic law. They are bound to do that, and they've been brainwashed to do so from birth. So when we hear that everyone must stand behind the MOU, this president of the Islamic Republic, he came out and said that, listen, they thought they could attack us. They thought we'd turn into Venezuela. We'll fall in a day. The world is astonished about our power. Setting himself up, right? Being like, hey, we did so well. But, then he said, but once we make a decision, everyone must stand behind it. And he didn't say what the decision was. He's just saying, once we make a decision, everyone has to be behind it. Same president who said, I spoke to the supreme leader for 7 hours. I know exactly what he wants. These are the things that the mainstream media will never, ever show you. We just gave you guys in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, we just summarized what the Islamic Republic is up to. Took us that long. And we've been doing this consistently, Armin. We've been doing this for a few months. We're like, yeah, they're going to do this. And then boom, a few weeks later, they start doing it. We're like, okay, well, maybe they're watching our show or something. I don't know.
Or maybe we know what we're talking about.
Or maybe we know what we're talking about. This guy came out with a bit of a story. This is Mahdi Rahimi, another official of the Islamic Republic. He's the head of the Parliament News Agency. Yeah, they just make up jobs. And he came out in an interview last night, and he said that Iran has now received an invitation to join the Mecca Agreement. That's the agreement between Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan. After he said that, Asim Munir was then announced by IRGC, the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, to be visiting Tehran tomorrow. So this would be pretty much our night tonight. Asim Munir, the basically the head of Pakistan, is going to go and he's going to carry some messages of negotiations from the United States to the Islamic Republic. What is it going to be? Surrender terms. Given to our demands, you, the Islamic Republic, are losing so much money. It's not even funny anymore. In fact, you're having a big problem at the moment. What is that problem? It's this. For those you don't know, many analysts estimate that the Islamic Republic is losing over $800 million every 24 hours as a result of this blockade, the fuel shortage that's going on. And now that economic D-Day is underway, what does that mean? They can't borrow money from China. They used to borrow the yuan, bring in Chinese currency, and strengthen the Iranian currency as a result. They're not doing that anymore. And as a result of that, guess what happened, guys? In this week alone, there was a 7% weakening of the currency in Iran. 7% in 1 week. For comparison, 1975, at the peak of the currency of Iran, $1 was 75 riyals. Today, $1 is worth 2 million riyals. So, let's take a look at this real quick. All right. The depreciation of the rial. How is that going to contribute to the Islamic Republic falling? Well, it really, really expedites it, speeds up super much, because when you depreciate it, the rial cost is raised for imported food, imported anything, medicine, cars, any sort of product that you have to bring in. You're screwed now. You're never going to be able to afford it anymore. But even if you were able to, well, good luck, buddy, because the United Arab Emirates just declared they're not going to do anything with the Islamic Republic from now on economically. That was 30% of Iran's imports. Out the window. Done. Bye-bye. So if you can find something, good luck. You won't be able to afford it anymore. And let's see what Prince Reza Pahlavi has to say about this. So he says the price of the US dollar crossed the 2 million rial mark today. Oof, man. The dollar is now worth 28,570 times more than it was during the Shah's period. Nearly 5 decades of corruption, mismanagement, and incompetence by the Islamic Republic has brought this poverty and isolation to the Iranian people. This is his call to action. It's the duty of every Iranian, including government employees and members of the country's civil service, to do everything they can to get in the way of the regime's destructive actions and weaken their ability. We're hearing some more calls to action lately by Prince Reza Pahlavi, which is also indicative of things to come. Now, why is that something that we might be looking out for? We have another leaked memo for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. This is an official document by the Islamic Republic that was leaked today. Armin, would you do us a favor and just read these red lines for us?
وضعیت نابسامان امنیت کالاهای اساسی و مصرف مردم، شبکه‌های بانکی، قطع برق در فصل گرما و شایعات افزایش قیمت بنزین در سطح کشور، نگرانی عمومی از جنگ با ضریب تهییج کنندگی یه فضای مجازی، ایجاد خشم و نفرت در مردم به ویژه شهرهای مهم از جمله تهران، شیراز، اصفهان، کرمانشاه و اهواز، وقوع اختشاش. They're saying all of this economic condition, electricity, the banks, cutting off of the power during the heat, and the rumors that fuel prices are going to go up, and people's anxiety over the war, and also all the rumors on the social media have caused people's anger and hate to go up, especially in the most important cities like Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan, Kermanshah, and Ahvaz. And this is going to cause, has increased the probability that there's going to be riots. Yeah, so this is in the newspaper suggesting that we're going to have an uprising soon because of everything that has happened.
This comes from the deputy of operations of law enforcement for the whole country. So not Radon, but like maybe 2 levels below him. That's not a nobody. This guy's got information. And then, of course, there's more paragraphs in there. They say, Netanyahu is despairing over his elections. Israel's seeking war. That's why they're stirring up this chaos. It's not us, the Islamic Republic. It's the Jews. And, of course, things like that. But that was the part that we cut out for you guys from this leaked document. And we make sure we cover all of those. There was another one a few weeks ago, said basically the same thing, just a little bit different. All right, so that is pretty much the worries of the Islamic Republic at the moment and what they're gearing up to do. That is exacerbated and made much, much worse from this 15-second clip that we're going to take a listen to in Farsi. If you thought it couldn't get any worse, let us tell you what this means.
مگه من میتونم انرژی رو اصلاح کنم جلوی این میلیارد دلار قاچاقو نگیرم؟ خب من بگیرم که اونجا یگانه منافع داره. ببخشین هر دو جناح هم توش هستن. اینی که نمیتونین گتبان کنی. من دکون رو بخوام جمع کنم شیشامو خورد میکنن.
What is he saying, Armin? What is he referring to here? He's alluding to something.
Play it again.
Okay.
سوال دارم مگه من میتونم انرژی رو اصلاح کنم جلوی این میلیارد دلار قاچاقو نگیرم؟ خب من بگیرم که اونجا یگانه منافع داره. ببخشین هر دو جناح هم توش هستن. اینی که نمیتونین گتبان کنی.
This part.
Wow.
They're both in
so
it.
He's saying that both the reformers and the hardliners are participating in illegal smuggling of fuel to make profit from it? Is that what you're
Exactly. Armin, 20 million liters of gas. Let's just 20 million liters. Let's put that into gallons for you guys so you guys can get an estimate. So that's about, oh man, what is that? 528. No, that's 5 million. 200. Okay, so 5.3 million gallons of fuel. They're short of 5.3 million a day in the Islamic Republic. That's a country of 90 million people. You're 5.3 million short. On top of that, this guy from the Islamic Republic is saying what we all know. When the Islamic Republic comes out and says people are stealing gas, they're going into the pipelines and they're stealing gas. That's why we're short. Well, who has access to these pipelines? Who has access to the refining facilities to be able to steal millions of gallons of gas? He's saying it himself. This is from the Islamic Republic. He's saying it. He's saying both factions of the Islamic Republic are in on it. They're both stealing gas to profit and make money. And Armin, whose money are they stealing? Who are they stealing money from?
from the directly. It's so ridiculous. Directly from the Iranian people, because the way it works is that they are subsidizing the fuel, right? They subsidize the fuel from the oil that they stole, from the oil revenue that they stole from the Iranian people, acting like they're doing the Iranian people a favor by subsidizing the fuel. So the fuel prices are heavily subsidized. So you're like, oh, well, thank you, Islamic Republic. Fuel prices are so low because it's heavily subsidized. I'm going to ignore the fact that you use my money to subsidize it. But okay, thank you so much. We have cheap fuel. And then what the Islamic Republic does with the subsidized fuel is that given that the fuel prices in Iran are so cheap compared to Pakistan, for example, because they're not heavily subsidized over there, it goes and takes its own subsidized fuel that has been subsidized with the Iranian people's money and takes it at the subsidized prices and goes into Pakistan and sells them at non-subsidized prices. Smuggling. And then they have the audacity of like, oh no, who's smuggling the fuel to Pakistan? Somebody needs to stop it. You are doing it. There are no smugglers that get to smuggle this much fuel in hundreds of millions of dollars. The industry of the fuel smuggling that exists is only explainable at that scale if it's happening with coordination with IRGC. They have pipes, Ali. They literally have pipes for this. Are like, oh no, illegal smuggling. You're doing the illegal smuggling.
Imagine if the U.S. government, imagine the oil price in America is just, let's just put at $4, okay? Let's just say that, which is around what it is at the moment. $4 a gallon. Let's just say the United States government came now and started taking oil from gas station. They just took the gas, they just siphoned it out, and they're like, sorry, it's now federal property, okay? And you're like, well, dude, what am I supposed to do? Like, the gas station just ran out of gas. I guess I'll go to another one. You head to another one. Well, now the private companies are like, oh, because the government took our gas, we're going to charge you more for it. So instead of $4, it's now $28 a gallon. And you're like, well, I guess I have to drive to work, I guess. Okay, I'll pay $28 a gallon. I'll even take out a loan to pay for my gas needs for the month. Not exaggerating. That happens in Iran. All right. Now you're breaking your back, paying extra for gas. And then the government comes and is like, yeah, sorry, guys, we don't have enough gas. We're going to have to jack the prices up even more than $28. And you're like, what? Excuse me, U.S. government, where's the gas? Like, why did you take all this gas? Where'd you putting it? They're like, oh, we're selling it to Europe for money. Yeah. By the way, you guys keep paying the higher gas, so we get more money. We'll also sell this gas to Europe and make more money off that too. Oh, okay, U.S. government. Well, what are you spending that money on? Like all this money that you're making? War. Yeah. Well, a war. that we're losing, and we will lose. Great. Great.
Speaking of illegal trade, Ali, can I show you something? Because I think it's very fit. Here, let me. So, Ali, do you know about the Mihan ice cream?
Oh, yeah. We covered it. That was the company that they brought in Khamenei's dead body in the freezers.
Yes. So Mihan ice cream is basically a dairy and ice cream conglomerate, the largest one in Iran, owned by a very well-connected family, deeply connected to the IRGC. And not only their truck was used to move Khamenei's body, but their commercial truck is also used to transport armed security forces to kill the Iranian people. That's the do people in the chat know this? The Mihan Ice Cream Company. So Iranian people associate the Mihan Ice Cream Company with as an evil oppressor of the Iranian people, completely tied and owned by the IRGC. And not only that, their refrigerated vans were also used to transport the protesters that they killed, the body of the protesters that they killed. This is the ice cream company, the most evil ice cream company in the world, right? That the Iranian people are trying to boycott, encourage people to boycott them internationally, right? They had let me show you their ad for Mihan ice cream. IRGC owned ice cream company. Do you guys want to see their ad in Dubai? And I kid you not, this is their ad. Well, then let me put the music on.
Oh, we're gonna get copyrighted for the music?
I don't think so. I think it's for this. Okay, you want me to mute it?
And just in case, yeah. And it's Arabic music. That's not provocative at all, according to the standards of the Islamic Republic.
Yeah.
Women,
Guys,
no headscarves, sucking on ice cream.
Yes. I kid you not. This is IRGC ice cream. This is IRGC owned ice cream. The very ice cream company that was moving around armed forces to kill the Iranian people and then moving their dead bodies in the refrigerated trucks.
Do you guys remember all those images from January 8th and 9th of all the body bags in those trucks? That was this company.
Yes. And they don't have an ad like this inside Iran, but because Dubai allows ads like this, they make ads like this for Dubai. This is pure evil. I don't understand.
Jeez. Let's go and see what the troop buildup is for the Islamic Republic. We're seeing a lot more videos come out. We're getting into the troop buildup. Then we're getting into the toll situation. The Islamic Republic is trying to pass I think they already passed a law to conduct tolls. Then there is a mysterious gas leak by 12 armed individuals in Iran who broke into a factory. And of course, our Alligram section, where we go into the IRGC group chats and we'll let you know what they say. After that, there is a very important piece of news coming out of Baghdad and Syria. We'll get into that and how that affects Iran as well. So, the Islamic Republic is building up its troops along the southern coast of Iran, particularly its airborne troops, weirdly enough. Why do they need to have airborne troops? First of all, dropped out of a helicopter, yes. But, it doesn't seem very defensive, in my opinion. Armin, how many times is it that they're threatening to invade the UAE and Kuwait?
Yeah, those narratives are picking up more and more. I see it all the time, that they have to go take over these lands and add it to their territory, their Islamic territory. Liberate Saudi Arabia, liberate Bahrain, liberate Qatar. By liberate, they mean invade, by the way.
In addition to their offensive operations, this is what they're doing for their defensive operations. Along the beach lines, they're digging in. We showed you a video from a few days ago. Maybe I can actually pull that up here. About them digging in on the southern coast of Iran to meet the United States Marines. Now, I'm 100% certain they're definitely going to see Marines. They definitely won't be taken out hours before the first U.S. boot touches Iranian soil. But hey, whatever makes the commanders of the IRGC feel better. As usual, guys, there are innocent soldiers who are given orders here, and if they are not complying with them, they will be, you know what. So, not too different than North Korea in that situation. A lot of defections, though, in the last few months. Those are definitely on the rise. And that would be in this area of the country. So, again, one of the only land routes you can invade Iran with over here. They're worried about a U.S. invasion from that front. And then, of course, they're worried about U.S. invasions all along the southern coast, particularly amongst the port cities. Something else I want to show you guys. This is perhaps one of the most important areas in the world to look at ever, for the simple reason that it actually constitutes 90% of Iran's cargo imports in this one area. This port, that is it. And this port is completely empty. Someone deleted the pictures and the videos of it, so I'll pull that up later for you guys, but that port is completely empty. Let me ask you a question, Armin. If the United States of America suddenly had no ships coming to its ports to drop off Chinese goods or other imported goods, and the ports are completely empty, what would companies like Walmart and Costco and, all these different retailers, what happened to them, and what would happen to the consumer like me and you? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, where if this happens, where?
In America, for example, yeah.
Oh, well, the prices of everything will skyrocket.
Everything. Skyrocket. By the way, skyrocket because it's still there. Then after it's gone, good luck finding it. That is the exact situation in Iran. That is why their own economic ministers and analysts are saying, we don't have more than 3 to 4 months before we're done. There's nothing left in the country. Right now, huge inflation, prices are super high, but there's still goods. That's it, though. The ports are now empty. There's nothing else coming in. 30% of the imports came from the UAE, no longer. Ports are empty. So good luck finding what you need to do from now on. It's only going to get worse. That's the situation that the warmongering of the IRGC and the Islamic Republic left the Iranian people in. For 47 years, and then in the past 12 months, they've dragged the Iranian people into 3 wars. The currency's depreciated. Inflation skyrocketed. Unemployment is around 25%. Okay. But somehow, the Islamic Republic is stronger than it was before, isn't it? Somehow. Here's their idea. The Parliament of the Islamic Republic is trying to get out of this situation by salvaging it. And what do? They advance a plan to charge ships transiting the Hormuz. That's right. So after months and months of the world freaking out over the Islamic Republic charging tolls, they are now advancing the plan. It hasn't even been finalized yet. However, a lot of the ships that do take the northern route, so that would be up here, they oftentimes do pay tolls. And then the ones that go down here from the US side, they don't pay tolls. Here's the problem with that. Last week, 2 Chinese ships tried to get around the Strait of Hormuz. Chinese. They paid the tolls, and they were not allowed to go through by the Islamic Republic. Why? Because they bought Saudi and Iraqi oil and not Iranian oil. They're just I'm just I don't know. Putting it as a big mistake.
So even if you pay the toll, they're gonna be like, but why are you buying their oil and not our oil?
Yeah. And then be like, okay, well, you can't go anymore.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the toll money, but no.
Those ships still haven't gone through. Those Chinese ships are still stuck there. So China's not
is our
happy.
oil not good enough? Is our oil not good enough anymore for you? Like,
yeah. But if you're wondering why they bought Iraqi oil, it's because Iraq and Saudi are now undercutting the Islamic Republic. They want their oil to be bought by China, not Iranian oil. So it's just a lose-lose on every single front for the Islamic Republic. And with that, we're going to get into our allogram section where we go into the IRGC group chats and we find their messages that are indicative of their points and moods. We're going to start off with the newspapers here in the Islamic Republic today. And first one is this one. Armin, what does this say? Why are they looking at each other head to head?
wow. Okay. آدرس غلط به داخل گرای تسلیم به خارج. So this is Pezeshkian, the president of the Islamic Republic. That guy over there is Hemmati, the head of the central bank in the Islamic Republic. So this newspaper is speaking against them both, and it's suggesting, based on the title, the Pezeshkian is giving internally, is creating the false narrative internally for the Iranian people. He's basically misdirecting them. And the Hemmati is giving signals to the foreigners that we're ready to surrender. So one side, so basically this newspaper is suggesting that the Pezeshkian and Hemmati are betraying the country, and they have divided their tasks. One to give the false narrative to internally, and the other one to give the false narrative or a pulse of weakness to externally, to tell them that we're getting ready to surrender.
Keep in mind, we do go into the IRGC group chats. The IRGC are against the government of the Islamic Republic, which are the two people you see there on the screen. And for anyone who might not know, the IRGC, people like this in that uniform, that's actually the commander-in-chief. And then in the bottom part, we actually have another part about Hossein Taeb. Armin, could you tell us what that headline about that mullah right there is?
Okay, so they're saying that Hossein Taeb, Hujjatul Islam Taeb, has said that America به هیچ یکی از تعهدات تفاهمنامه عمل نکرد. So Hossein Taeb is saying that United States did not abide by any of the articles, any of the promises within the MOU. They've basically accusing the Americans of violating every part of the MOU that they said.
Keep in mind, the commander-in-chief of the IRGC gets this little column at the top, right? And then the basically almost shadow supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, this mullah right here, also gets a small column. They just repeat their own standard talking points. The big part is attacking their own government like this and making fun of them, indicating that they're traitors and giving up. So that was the first newspaper. The other ones, we can't really show that, but let's take a look at this. We all know who that is. What does this say here?
Tange 10 terms صفر. So basically, it's like a scoreboard. So Trump versus the straight. 10 points for the straight and 0 points for Trump. And he's counting all the ways that Trump lost against the straight.
This is the propaganda. They have to sell it as a win to their own supporters. And this is going to bite them in the butt, and it is. Slowly, the Islamic Republic supporters are waking up to the fact that they're not getting the right news. How is it that we're winning in the Strait of Hormuz and beating America if we're paying 10 times more for the same things that we bought last month?
Ali, you know what this is? This is called the battle between the TV and the fridge. During the final years of the Soviet Union, the Russians were noticing that there's two narratives that they're hearing. One narrative from their TV and another narrative from their fridge. Because they turned on the TV and the TV was saying that we're winning, that we're destroying the West, the America's losing, and everything is glorious, and we're progressing, and everything looks good. And then they turn off the TV and they open their fridge, and the fridge was empty. So in every home, there was two different narratives that were coming out, one from the TV and the other one from the fridge. This is a battle.
So Amir here in the chat. Amir's asking the fridge lost, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
People's household incomes definitely, you know. So yeah, those are pretty much the newspapers here. So I think there was.
By the way, guys, the battle between the TV and the fridge is also the battle between the narrative world and the objective world, because you can keep spinning narratives as much as you want, but at the end of the day, reality will catch up to you. Reality has a really bad habit of not letting go of your false narratives, and eventually, if your narratives divert away too much from objective reality, it will come and hunt you down, and it will bring everything crashing down.
Yeah.
Reality.
And here's another. Look at this newspaper. These are the IRGC's talking points. Spreading their propaganda at every corner. By the way, this is what you will find on most corners of the streets newspapers. People scan them online and I grab them for you guys.
همصدای ترامپ نشوید. دشمن مستاصل در میدان به فشار اقتصادی و سیاه‌نمایی روی آورده تا مذاکره را تنها راه نشان دهد. همزمان برخی مقامات و شخصیت‌ها در داخل نیز با تکمیل این پازل به جای مقابله در زمین او بازی کردند. So this newspaper is putting a headline saying, don't go up a little bit because I can't read it. Yeah. I'm going to translate. He said, همصدای ترامپ نشوید. Don't give us the same narrative as Trump. He's saying that our enemy is very desperate in the battlefield. So that's why they are pressuring us economically. And they're trying to paint a very dark picture of what the situation is like in Iran so that they could sell the negotiation as the only way for us to be saved. So the Americans are trying to make it seem like the negotiation is the only option. But at the same time, some of our officials inside Iran are helping the Americans and completing that picture for the American with them for our enemies. Instead of fighting our enemy, they're helping our enemy.
And of course they got to put this in there at the end, don't they? They will lose. And then that's basically Trump. Okay. So here's what's happening. They're painting the picture, as we've been telling you guys, that the Americans have no choice but to come and negotiate with us, the Islamic Republic, because we're winning. And of course we want the war to end. We have economic problems in the country, so of course we want to fix them. So we have to talk to the Americans. And they want to pin the blame on some people in their own government. But some people in our government are getting in the way of that. They're giving concessions to the Americans. So we're going to have to get rid of that part of our government. We're going to have to shed a layer of our own system here to stay alive. Armin, is that anything new? I mean, or is that kind of like their standard protocol, I feel like, for decades?
Yeah, but so many people, even from their own camp, are not buying it anymore.
So things are not the same as they were before. Things are different. Very, very different. All right. Let's get into this very fast message, or this really hot... Guys, I'm trying to translate into Farsi to English in my head. It's not working. Anyway, now that we got done with the newspapers of this week for the Islamic Republic, let's get into the actual messages from the IRGC supporters. This is a very interesting one. Pretty much sums up all these sorts of messages. And look at this. They're saying, who else could have fixed this situation other than a rent-seeking and demon-ridden government? Again, they hate the Islamic Republic officials and the government. They love the IRGC. The goal of this demon-ridden government is to make people protest again with high prices of gasoline and repeat what happened on January 8th and 9th. Otherwise, how could the price of gold have reached nearly 15 million tomans the day after the MOU, but now it's 20 million? Because they want to put pressure on the people. They don't care about the people. This might look like a message from the Iranian people themselves. This is actually a regime supporter. The regime supporter, when they refer to the people, they're referring to their own, the regime supporters, not the actual people of Iran. These people haven't complained about anything economically until now that the gas prices are high and inflation's rising. They didn't care that 50,000 people died, didn't care about anything. They just care about their own pockets. And it's crazy, right? Armin, I feel like if I was corrupt and feeding off the wealth of a nation and got billions of dollars, eventually when, I stop getting that money, I feel like because I've been caught up in this cycle of I deserve it and I'm so rich and I'm better, I'm going to come out right now and I'll be angry. It's like a spoiled little child.
I gotten too used to it. Ali, that's exactly why they're doing so many things that we don't understand. Like, why are they not capitulating? Why are they continuing to resist? Because the current condition that they have, they're so used to it that they can't imagine doing anything else.
I know. And that bites them in the butt, because now that they've fattened up their own supporters so much, now that they're not doing so well, they're so ungrateful to the Islamic Republic, and they're going to come out and not support them anymore the next time we, the Iranian people, rise up. And again, if you guys didn't catch it, they're alluding to the January 8th and 9th protests. Okay. So our next one is, if you guys heard about the news, the Canadian Prime Minister is going to impose tariffs on the United States in retaliation to Trump putting tariffs on Canada. The Islamic Republic picked up this story and they're running with it, saying, oh my God, see, the allies of America are turning against them. They're losing because of us, the Islamic Republic. We did this to America. So this supporter says, America has gone to become the resistance economy. You guys don't get the narrative. The Islamic Republic is saying we and all of our proxies, we're the resistance axis against the Americans. So this regime supporter is playing that word joke on America. America has gone to the resistance economy, but they are still laughing and whining about it. We can't have that. We have to be friends with America. This is a completely sarcastic post. It'll probably be better read in Farsi if you want to read that for us, Armin, right there.
رفیق آمریکا رفته سراغ اقتصاد مقاومتی. اینجا هنوز بهش میخندن، ناله میکنن. نمیشه، باید با آمریکا رفیق شیم. رفیق آمریکا, what is he talking about? Oh, yeah, so Canada has gone into resistance mode, and we're اینجا هنوز بهش میخندن. Okay. So I don't understand. What is this? What is your understanding of this?
He's being sarcastic, saying like, look, the Americans are on the back foot, but let's go be friends with them.
Oh.
Like, why would we go and deal with the Americans when they're on the back foot? Why does our government want to go and be friends with them?
I get it. I get it. He's saying like, look, even United States friend, which is Canada, is doing our strategy of resistance economy.
Yeah,
but yet we are trying to befriend America, even though. So basically, he's saying even Canada has waken up that you can't deal with the Americans. Yet here internally, people are telling us to go make peace with the Americans. Like he's saying, nobody can be made friends with the American, including Canadians. Not even Canadians can make it work.
I think if we went to talk to a regime supporter on the street in Iran right now, they would talk about this. To be like, see, If you were to ask and be like, hey, why do you think America's not doing so well? They'll be like, well, Canada's turning against them, just like we are. Be like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
All right, let's go to
like
the
the
next
whole
one.
world is waking up. How come you haven't woken up?
So we showed you guys a clip a couple days ago of that Chinese robot running, and that's what the news agency posts. They post a bunch of different stuff, miscellaneous. And then one of their supporters say, then here in Iran in the 21st century, they turn our country's electricity, they make it on a schedule. They cut off power to every city and neighborhood for 2 hours a day. By the way, it's a lot more than 2 hours a day in a lot of areas. And they're saying, where are they and where are we? In China, they're building robots that do races against each other. In our country, we don't even have electricity. It gets cut off. The funny thing is, these electricity cutoffs have been happening even since when I lived in Iran, although they were nowhere near as severe, and they were very much scheduled. It would happen for just a couple hours in certain parts. Now they're a lot more widespread, and so the regime supporters are outraged at it. Whereas before, in their rich little neighborhoods, they didn't really have this problem. Here's our next one. Yes, doomer message. Guys, we tell you all the time, the Islamic Republic does not report the facts to their own supporters, which is very understandable. If they told them the actual facts and the reality of the situation, there would be riots. This is a regime supporter saying, due to the U.S. naval blockade, Iran's oil exports have dropped to zero. Iran's foreign exchange earnings have fallen by 1/6, and our southern ports have been completely closed. Farce News is asleep and is trying to portray the country's situation as good. Farce News does not publish any news about the naval blockade of Iran and the drop in Iranian oil sales. Mr. Farce News, how far is the lie? That's been going on for a while, by the way. And it's right. So when I hear a bunch of really important news, when Trump declares economic D-Day, then I go into the Islamic Republic media and I take a look at what they're saying. They don't say Trump is committing economic D-Day. They say Trump is claiming the Strait of Hormuz for himself, and he is trying to put pressure on the Iranian economy. That's it. That's all they say. They don't say the UAE just cut off all financial ties with the Islamic Republic. They don't say that we can't grab economic help from China anymore. They don't say all that. These people have to download and install a VPN to connect themselves to, like, Madrid, for example, to be able to access foreign media that tells them the truth. And they do that. A lot of them do that.
Yeah. They actually say, they say on their social media that curse be upon the Islamic Republic for making us having to go listen to this yellow dog, meaning they mean Trump, this dirty yellow dog, to see what the actual news is.
Yeah.
The dirty dog that killed our supreme leader. Curse upon you, the officials of the Islamic Republic that has gotten us to this position.
Yep, just more North Korea censorship like that. Let's take a look at what Shaheen is saying in this group. Here it is. This week, the president of the Islamic Republic has been dragged through the mud on purpose. He's the fall guy. Now he's getting the brunt of it. And he's saying, incompetent Masoud, which is Masoud Pezeshkian, the president. Incompetent Masoud, since you came, you destroyed the country's economy. There's been chaos. There's been war. You are used by whoever you worship, which is the supreme leader. You are a tool in the hands of the clerics. You carry out whatever he orders. Hey, at least he has a bit of awareness here, knowing that Pezeshkian's controlled by the clerics. Nothing new. Anyone with a brain
Persian
cell.
version of this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna see, make sure. مسعود بی‌کفایت وقتی اومدی اقتصاد کشور رو نابود کردی اغتشاش شد جنگ شد و تو رو به هر کی میپرستی استفاده. So that was a mistranslation. So he's saying, for the love of
Oh,
whoever you
resign.
are
Oh.
worshiping. Yeah, so he's saying, for the love of whoever you worship, resign. That's what it meant. Yeah. تو آلت دست روحانی هستی. You are a tool being used by Rouhani, like the former president, Rouhani. And whatever Rouhani orders, that's what you do. So a lot of these conspiracy theories, they think like Rouhani and Zarif are Zionist agents in the Islamic Republic, and Pezeshkian is their agent. So the Pezeshkian is the agent
Ooh.
of the Zionist agents. And Rouhani is the head Zionist agent.
Man. So we show that message to you guys so you know that the regime supporters are extremely angry at their government. That would be their elected government. Remember, there's an elected and non-elected government inside Iran. Here's this one. So here is one of the most important allusions that this regime supporter is getting to. When he says, "Dear officials, we have been on the streets since March 1st to prevent another sedition from taking place, and we have been behind the system." Arman, what does that mean? Do you want me to put it in Farsi?
Yeah, no, I get it. I think it's not March 1st. Yeah, I think it's like, so. Yeah, actually, no, do it Persian, because this looks not wrong.
While you read it, let me just tell them real quick. Guys, since the beginning of the war, regime supporters were ordered to take to the streets. Arman, why is that?
To avoid an uprising by the Iranian people.
And so what is this guy saying? What is he alluding to?
He's saying that we have been in the streets from all of these days to stop another, division. By division, he means an uprising. He means the uprising. How did the English translation of fitna means?
Sedition. But yeah, just uprising.
Uprising. And we have been supporting the regime, and we have been there until now, and we will be there. So please go fix the economy and the people and the dollar. You have to support us, because like he's asking regime officials, he's saying, we have been in the streets supporting you, so you have to support us now and fix the economy. This idiot thinks that the officials could just like snap their fingers and fix the economy. That's what he thinks.
So this is really important. A lot of you may know that we've been showing you messages that a lot of these regime supporters are not going to come out next time in support of the government on the streets. They won't come out. But then there's a die-hard loyalist mentality amongst a lot of them as well. That's people like this. And even them are saying, look, guys, we came out for you guys. We've been out in the streets like you ordered, shouting, hey, dad, every night. But our problems are getting worse. Please fix them. Arman, can the government fix this guy's problems?
Yeah. By dying. There's no other way. By letting the Iranian people coming up and taking over the Islamic Republic, destroying them and bringing Pahlavi. There is no other way. The only way any of this will get fixed is for the Islamic Republic to die and for Pahlavi to return. There is no other way.
And when the economic problems aren't fixed, I wonder how many of these loyal supporters are going to still come out.
A smaller portion of them for sure.
Definitely. And that's all we need. That's all the Iranian people need. And here's our last one. So this person is saying in response, saying, oh God, when will these 4 years of this human existence end? I think he's alluding to the presidency of the Islamic Republic. Pezeshkian was elected and brought into power 2 years ago. He's just 2 years left. This regime supporter is saying it won't take 4 years. Rest assured, these traitors will soon be uprooted from the country. Do you think when push comes to shove, that the regime supporters might go in and remove all these traitorous government officials of theirs?
Guys, this is very interesting, Ali, that you're asking this and showing this. Do you know what Ali is showing us here, guys? This is a promise of an uprising by the jihadi people against the current Islamic Republic, against the regime. So somebody is so angry with the current regime, some supporters, some jihadi people, thinking that they have been taken over by incompetent or traitors. And he said, like, oh my God, make the Pezeshkian time finish already, presidency finish already. This person is promising that, don't worry, we will get rid of them sooner than that. This is a promise of an uprising. This is the double uprising that we have been talking about for years. Now the jihadis are promising that. We knew what these jihadis were going to do before they knew what they were going to do. We knew these jihadis better than they know themselves. We predicted that they will one day say this, and now they're saying it.
Yep. These are great messages. I've only found 3 or 4 of these over the last couple of months. But whenever I see them, I'm like, holy, this is treasonous words.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the allogram section. We're going to give you guys some updates. You guys remember September 30th?
No, so look at this. Like the GTA,
yeah.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. GTA is saying, Armin, they won't go for regime change. Oh my effing God. They will still want some velayat faqih. I know that. So you have to understand what I'm saying from their perspective. They think their current officials within the Islamic Republic are not velayat faqih people, are not Islamic, do not have the ideals of the revolution. They want to do regime change to go back to having an Islamic regime. Just because I'm telling you what they believe, it doesn't mean that I believe them. And we are wishing them luck in going against this regime that they think is un-Islamic, or against the Wali Faqih, or against the ideals of the revolution. That's not my narrative, that's their narrative. And fine, go fight against each other. So that when we want to do actual regime change, the more these people fight each other, when our people eventually come out and do actual regime change, then we have an easier time. Again, GTA, you don't understand what I'm saying. Saying they're not going to help us with full regime change. You don't say. You're telling me that jihadi people are not okay with the regime change that we want? Like, are you telling me that? Oh, okay. You're telling me that jihadi people actually prefer an Islamic governance and do not want a secular democratic government under the leadership of Pahlavi? Is that what you're telling me? Well, thank you for that information.
Guys, quick updates here. Tomorrow, we're expected to hear from Scott Bessent, who will announce a ton, basically the entire sanction package on the Islamic Republic. What I'm going to personally be looking out for are things called secondary sanctions. The sanctions that you've heard about so far placed on the Islamic Republic, they're all primary. Secondary sanctions are indiscriminate, meaning if you happen to buy an Iranian good and someone else sold it to you who wasn't Iranian, like you had no idea it came from Iran, you're going to be sanctioned. Doesn't matter if you knew or not. Doesn't matter. So now it's your job to go and find out, where did this good come from? That's going to be a huge nail in the coffin. Before that, let's hear some traitorous words by Ghalibaf. Traitorous is to the extreme.
رئيس مجلس الشورى وذكر موضوع
This is the equivalent of Ghalibaf, the parliament speaker for the Islamic Republic in Iraq. And he's openly bragging about, anyway, let's just shut him up right there. He's openly bragging about speaking about the Arabian Gulf. He's like, yeah, I told Iran it was the Arabian Gulf. It's not the Persian Gulf. And he actually told us that for the sake of negotiations to continue, Ghalibaf told him, you know what? You say it's the Arabian Gulf. I say it's the Persian Gulf. To compromise, let's call it the Islamic Gulf.
What?
Yeah. So that's a bit of traitorous words there. Again, territorial integrity is of the utmost importance for Iranians, and it will never, ever be called the Arabian Gulf. Ever. And then here is the second piece of news. So
that's
this is
actually,
according
by the
to...
way, the Islamic Gulf is actually worse than the Arabian Gulf. Somehow.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess one is worse. I mean, yeah, one is worse than the other, of course, but
it's always going to be, it always has been and always will be the Persian Gulf.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
I don't care what they call it.
I love you too.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have the Arabian Sea. You don't see us trying to go rename the Arabian Sea to the Persian Sea. All right? We're not doing that. So the Persian Gulf has been, and will always continue to be the Persian Gulf.
Yep. And Al Arabiya is reporting that factions in Iraq are leaning towards freezing their weapons operations for 2 years. And that is in accordance to Iran's vision. So when Ghalibaf came over to Iraq to talk to the proxies, the IRGC terrorist proxies in Iraq, apparently he told them, listen, guys, just give us, the IRGC, your weapons. Just say it, that you'll do that. We'll give them back to you in 2 years. Armin, what happens in 2 years? Who is gone in 2 years?
Let me see. Are you talking about Trump? So,
yeah, Trump.
Yeah, okay.
Trump's gone in 2 years.
Yeah.
They want to basically disarm the militias for just 2 years. Trump goes in 2 years, and then they're back to performing their same old terrorist activities.
They want to give the weapons, if they get forced to disarm the proxies, the terrorist proxies of the Islamic Republic in Iraq, they are trying to find a way to just give the guns to the Islamic Republic so that they could then return it back to them when Trump is gone.
Yeah, that cannot happen. That absolutely cannot happen.
That's why the guns would be given to the Americans and nobody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. The situation in Iraq is going to be pretty dangerous. And here it is on the map for you guys. Of course, the American presence in Iraq has been pretty substantial for a long time now. And I have no doubt that due to the CIA's deep assets in the area and intelligence gathering operations, we do know who and what the Islamic Republic uses to smuggle in weapons and goods and etc., either into Iraq or through it and into Lebanon. My concern is this. Al-Zaidi doesn't have, and this is a fact, Al-Zaidi does not have enough power on his own to get rid of the terrorist proxies. He needs the United States' help. The Iraqi regime itself is pretty much on the verge of bankruptcy. Their oil exports, which is, again, most of their government revenue, fell by 93% since the beginning of the blockade. Yeah. They got no money. If push comes to shove and maximum pressure by the IRGC proxies are put on the Iraqi government, who don't have the money right now, you could see a collapse of the Iraqi government. So that would be major escalation. That would create another problem for the United States of America and the entire region as a whole. So we have to see how the Prime Minister of Iraq plays this. He doesn't have a lot of room to work with, but of course the right decision here is to side with the Americans. It's your only way out. All right, now let's get into a couple of stupid statements made by Tom Barrack.
Yeah, Tom Barrack has been on a lot of dumb comments recently, right?
Yep.
Tell people who he is first.
Tom Barrack is the presidential envoy of President Trump to Syria, and I think also Iraq, right? Or maybe it's just Syria, but or Syria and Turkey, I believe. It's two countries there. Turkey, yeah, Syria and Turkey. He said Israel was wrong. Israel shouldn't have, they shouldn't be occupying the Golan Heights. It's not in accordance to law. It's not right. They also said that Israel's strike on the Syrian airbase a couple nights ago was intended to bait Turkey into a conflict ahead of Israeli elections. Then he said there were no Turkish military assets at the site, and that potential strike risked World War III. A lot of people are wondering, why is Tom Barrack, why is he employed still? And if you were to look at his shirt there, maybe you could find a couple reasons why to, but this guy is not competent at his job at all. He is incredibly incompetent. Does not push the interests of the American nation at all. I'm confused why he's still there.
Yeah, Kinley is saying, is he appointed by Trump or Biden? He's part of the Trump administration. And Ali, may I say a whole bunch of to talk about what he said and what this means, which is really, really, this is a really a horrible situation, because he is part of the Trump administration, and JD Vance has said a lot of things against Israel. And this person went on a podcast by Mario Naval, which is a very anti-Israeli podcaster.
I'll be right back.
He had the most, and he had the most garbage things to say about Israel, right? So, as you guys know, Syria has turned into a point of major tension between Israel and Turkey right now. Turkey wants to bring back the Ottoman Empire, Erdogan specifically. And Syria used to be part of the Ottoman Empire. And they want to move into Syria. Israel has two issues. Israel has, exactly, Shana is saying that we need to get rid of him. This person should be fired yesterday by the Trump administration. It is actually ridiculous how much of a garbage take against Israel is being allowed by the Trump administration. Israel has multiple issues in Syria. One is long-term. Long-term concern of Israel is that Syria is going to be a place where Turkey could put pressure, military pressure on Israel, using the Syria as a base of operations. Erdogan specifically said that one day we're going to liberate Jerusalem, basically calling for genocide of Israelis, right? Destroying Israel, right? That's what liberating Jerusalem means. And that is the country that is now moving its military into Syria. And Israel should not allow that. But that's a longer term concern. The shorter term concern for Israel is that Syria's airbase is what Israel uses to attack the Islamic Republic inside Iran. So Turkey moving its military into Syria will mean that Syria will have the air defense that will not allow Israel to just use. Remember, when Assad was in power, the airspace of Syria was not available to Israel to do operations like Operation Roaring Lions during the 40-day war. Assad falling made the Syrian airbase available to Israelis, like this. So Turkey moving militarily into Syria will make Israel not just have to worry about the long-term consequences of Syria turning into a base of operations against Israel at some point, but also the more shorter-term concern of not having the airspace of Israel, of Syria available for military operations, right? So United States is taking Turkey's side on all of this, right? With Turkey, which is very concerning. And Tom Barak, as a representative of the Trump administration, came and said that this is going to cause World War III, blamed the Israelis for these escalations, blamed the Israelis for not communicating to Turkey that they are going to do operations like this, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, why would they, right? Blaming the Israelis that they're doing this for escalation. Ali, I kid you not. I listened to that podcast. He said that the Muslim countries are trying to find peace, but Israel is not letting them, basically. He was praising the Muslim countries for, he's saying the challenge for Muslim countries is that they're trying to find a way to compromise and basically find an off-ramp to peace. But Israel, and he specifically said this, for the sake of the election, the upcoming election, they need war. And what is his name? Mario Nafal guy, he was loving him saying that. Like, he was smiling and like, oh yeah, it's for the elections. So Israeli, it's not because of their security concerns, for the sake of, they're bringing war for the sake of their elections. And not only that, on that podcast, he also announced that Golan Heights belong to Syria, not Israel, which goes against the official position of President Trump's position in his first term. So the Trump administration needs to make it clear, like, do they still have the position that the Golan Heights belongs to Israel? Because if not, why does this guy still have his job?
Exactly. Completely incompetent. All right. Let's get him off the screen. Let's go back to the map here. We have a couple updates for you guys. Yes. Sorry, every chance I get, I need to show you guys clips of our last Shah. Let's take a listen to what our Shah has to say.
In the old days, you, British, and others who had influence here, you could change the prime ministers as you wished. Are you sorry for that time that you have lost? Do you want the same thing? To manipulate our internal affairs? We won't let you.
And that clip I wanted to show you guys because that is exactly the Iran that I want to build in the future. No country should have influence to decide our fates. 1979 was enough. It's never going to happen again. I love this clip. I've seen this maybe 1 billion times. In response to a British journalist who asked him, are you going to meddle in other countries' internal affairs? And he's saying, wow, that's very rich coming from you, a British journalist, because you British have meddled into our internal affairs in Iran for the past 40 years, ever since World War II. All right, get the mood back up and let's go into Iran, where we can see that some in the city of Karaj over here, right next to the capital of Iran, this morning, we spotted something on the walls of the city. Something a little strange.
اینجا میگه شهر کرج مرداد 1405.
Look at that. We love you, BB. Speaking of Israel, just thought I'd get that for you guys.
That's beautiful.
And now into Zelensky. Zelensky is one of the staunch supporters of the people of Iran, and so he is often shared by Prince Reza Pahlavi's communications office. He, of course, warned that kill enough people and you stay in power must not be a message that is encouraged. So after the 40,000 protesters were massacred in Iran, Zelensky made that statement, which was great, and they have so far kept their stance on pro-Iranian people. And here's Tina
By the way,
Ghalibaf, who is the head of...
Somebody was saying, where is it? That message was written inside Iran. The message of support. Somebody was asking, so
it's here.
No, I want to make that clear. That is in Karaj. That's a very risky move. People are still writing messages of support for Pahlavi and Israel inside Iran, in the city of Karaj.
Yep. It's about 45 minutes, an hour from the capital. They're pretty much tied together. Yeah. And here we are. This is a statement made by Zelensky. The world did not help the Iranian people enough. It stood aside. Of course, Zelensky might be talking more about the European countries here. And that is shared by Tina Ghalibaf, the head of communications for Prince Reza Pahlavi. So an indirect message there. And we did show you guys all of that. Is this part? And lastly, before we get into the super chats, many of you, particularly if you're Israeli, may know that there's still an active war going on with Hezbollah. So in southern Lebanon here, you have a ridge called Ali al-Tahrir Hill. This is the overlook point for most of southern Lebanon and one of the headquarters for Hezbollah. Well, Hezbollah has a slight situation here at the moment. They're trapped underground. Hundreds of their fighters are trapped under the tunnels in this area, but now we have info. Now we have potential info that there might be IRGC officers trapped underground as well. And Armin, how, is that crazy news or is that to be expected? IRGC helping out Hezbollah in Lebanon?
It would be crazy news if they weren't.
Yeah. So you have IRGC stuck underground in Lebanon fighting for Hezbollah. And that is the newest piece of information suspected by the IDF there. Again, nothing crazy. Ask any Iranian, they'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, so what? Like, we already knew that. Whatever. Let's get into it. All right. And Vanquish became a YouTube member. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome on board. And then, here it is. Look at this.
Is Nilbani still here? Nilbani, are you in the chat? Thank you, Nilbani.
So, guys, Armin and I do a super chat race and we keep tabs. I think it's like he's winning 14-7 is in the days that he's win. Guys, just look at this. Look, these two people, right? Nail Bunny and Sayed. So Nail Bunny says,
Sayed, are you here?
Hello, Durud and Shalom. Please like the stream. If you like the stream at the beginning, it feeds. Liking the stream feeds the YouTube algorithm gremlins. Subscribe and select all notifications so you know whenever Ali and Armin go live. And then boom, confetti. So Nail Bunny and Sayed got you to 10, 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
I'm just saying, still some people would say it's a little, some people would say it's cheating, but not me. Not me. I wouldn't say that. But
not you. Only people who lose all the time would say that.
Yeah, people. I mean, no, it's just like some people would say that's cheating.
Some people, people. Thank you, Neil Bunny. Thank you. That's very sweet. Oh my god. Yes.
Thank you, Neil Bunny. Let's go through that again. Actually,
yes. And she's still here.
Says,
and say it.
Subscribe and select all notifications.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys should please consider subscribing. Would really help our channels, and we're here every single day. So anytime you want to pop in and see what's happening with Iran, please do so. Thank you, Nail Bunny.
By the way, guys, but can I say something to my chat, guys? To my chat specifically, not the people on Ali's chat. I do want the chat to work out for you guys. So let me know. I mean, I could do a poll that is not for both chats, but just for my chat. If you guys don't like the policies that I have, that all the people with opposing ideas are here in the chat, we could do a poll, because I do guys, I do know like Nail Bunny, Amir, they don't like it. I don't know, Sayed, what do you guys think? But I could do a poll, and so you guys decide if we have this policy or not. Like, I personally prefer seeing, you know how you guys say like, oh, Armin, how do you know how the Durkas, what the like? I know these people's narratives. I know what the communists say. I know what the jihadis say. I know their narratives, and I understand their positions and their narratives very well, because I keep expose myself to them, the people that you consider their behavior to be trolling behavior or whatever. I expose myself to them because I want to know what our enemy is thinking and is saying, and I learn from them, so I know how to be better equipped to fight them, right? Both the jihadis and the commies, right? But I know a lot of you don't like that, and you consider their position. I mean, all of these people, all of them, the way they behave would be considered by you guys like toxic and trolling, and you don't want that in our community. But I personally want to see their opinions on a daily basis, especially because I have limited time to go and consume their content. I want to be able to see them in my chat as well, so I constantly get updated of what their latest, troll and toxic takes are, right? So let me know. Let me know if you want me to change the policy, because right now the chat works for me as a way for me to constantly every day see what these people are saying. But I want the chat to also work for you guys. I can have a poll if you guys want, and then we could decide together. Let me know if you want a poll. I'll say it is.
All right. And then real quick, Sarah's saying, Ali, we need a couple more mods. What happened? Let me know. And then let's keep going. And our next one is from Sayed. It says, another day, another win. Yeah, I think because, so they're saying another day, another win. Then they're saying, let's see if we can win today. I agree with Nail Bunny. Please like the stream. And on the way to confetti.
Yes.
So I think those immediately got you to the 10.
Thank you, Sayed.
Thank you, Sayed.
So we're at
very kind.
We're at 15-7. 15.
Damn.
7. Yes.
Maybe we can consider scrapping it. Okay. Thank you, Sayed, for the super chats.
Or we could use it as a way to encourage your chat. I don't know. To
my chat's great.
Yes. Wait, let me do. What should I put?
Unconditional surrender. All right, I'll keep reading these.
Opposing ideas.
Thank you, Sayed, and thank you, Nail Bunny. Our next one is from Joanne, who says, please, no negotiations. Yeah, they're getting ready for that. They're definitely getting ready for that. They got to sell it to their own supporters somehow as well. But here's the good part, Joanne. Because the situation for them is getting worse by the day and that they're losing ground, the United States is asking more and more from them, which is a very basic negotiating tactic. You're on the front foot, you ask for more. So let's see what their breaking point is. And thank you for the super chat. And our next one is from Amir the Cricket, who says, listen to Queen Bunny. Listen to Queen Bunny. Like the stream, please. I think I should listen to Amir and Queen Bunny.
Amir also, here's the thing. Amir and I disagree a lot on many things, and we agree mostly, though. We agree mostly, but we also disagree mostly. But we love each other, and he never stops supporting me, even when he gets really upset with my views. But he's always consistently supporting me, and I appreciate you, Amir. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir. Genuinely, you're the best. and kept tabs for us. Yeah, the 15-7. All right. Well,
50.
we'll get a comeback at some point. Yeah. Thank you for keeping track. And Arik-san became a YouTube member. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining. I'll probably renewing your membership, probably. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And FunSun with the 100 jewels.
Funsun.
Thank you very much. Thanks, FunSun.
Yes.
And Fizz
Thank you,
Endricist, who
Funsun
says,
also for the
Yeah.
admin, for not just for the jewels, but also for the amazing modding, just like Amir.
Yes,
and
thank
and
you.
the other ones.
and Fizz Endricist says, no freeloading, like and subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, we're at 5,700. Feels like just yesterday that I just started. We're going to get into 10,000 soon. Hopefully in the next like 2 months. My goal by my birthday.
Yes. Support Ali, guys. Subscribe to his channels.
Thank you very much. Our next one is from Joanne. Says, Alligrams are going to be interesting today. Well, I hope
Yes,
they
they
were.
were. He always finds the best ones, Ali. Somehow you always manage to find the best ones.
Yeah, it takes some time. Got to read through. Oh my God, so much gibberish from these idiots that I have to read through and then grab the actually good points.
I think Ali is now a Durka whisperer by himself, given how much of these people's comments he has reviewed. Like, he genuinely understands them a lot. I notice he does.
Yeah. Yeah. I get their mentality because I guess short of myself typing messages in their group chats, I am one of them. I read all of it. Thank you, Joanne. Hope
By
you
the way,
liked it.
guys, we have a vote that is only on my channel right now, on Liberty Politics YouTube channel, that says, should we allow people with very opposing views from us here on our chat? Okay, and so far 76% have said yes and 24% have said no. And thank you for your votes, buddy.
Okay. And our next one is from RG Rappaport saying, sending love. Thank you. I definitely feel it.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that
you.
very much.
We'll
Hope
sending
you're having
love
a great
back.
day. Yeah.
Yes.
And Vidur Folnir Silska says, Armin, have you seen Sahar TV's most recent video on the situation in Britain? It's very important.
Oh,
I have not seen that.
I haven't seen that, but I have. I love Sahar TV, and he was on our show. That's yeah.
Oh, that's a
and
he?
I love the guy. Yes.
Wow.
It's great. He's a great. It's a great channel. Love the guy, and apparently he knew us, and he showed up to our show, and we had a great time talking to him. Me and Goldie.
Nice.
Goldie, and sorry. Yes.
All right. Thank you for that super chat.
Yeah. So let's
You
keep
have to
that in
take a
mind.
look.
Like, I hope if I have time, I'll take a look. Yes.
Yeah. And Joanne says, do you both know of Lily Mu? She's an Iranian living in Israel, did an amazing interview on I-24, worth showing. Okay.
Oh.
Lily Mu, I-24. Oh, I put I-23. Elahe Jamali is a British Iranian human rights activist. She lives in Israel. Oh, cool. Okay. I have that here, so I'll take a listen to it later. Thank you so much, Joanne. Also, I'm glad that you like things like that. Appreciate the super chat very much. And our next one is from Vanquish, who says,
wait, look at this before you go there. Nelban is saying, I saw Sahar in the chat and I asked him to keep you company, Armin, and then he did. Oh, so it was Nail Bunny that secured that for us. Nail Bunny finding us. She also she mods, she supports us, and she also finds us the best people to come to our show. Thank you, Nail Bunny.
Thank you, Nail Bunny. And guys, we actually have a guest coming on Tuesday in 2 days. A very interesting guest that you guys will enjoy. So make sure on Tuesday that you definitely show up to our stream.
Yes.
And thank you for that. Our next one is from Vanquish, who says, do you think it's possible that people in Iran will start using the US dollar or USDT instead of the toman for every day in the near future?
They already are. For big items, they already are. For things that are measured in US dollars, is the economy already has started to become dollarized for very expensive things, and it will continue to be dollarized if things get really, really bad. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a very good question. So this is called the dollarization of the economy. When you have crazy level of inflation, then your economy becomes dollarized.
Yeah. After Iran's free, it's hard to say. They'll probably continue, to be honest, but they're going to be putting a lot of effort into stabilizing the currency. Yeah, it's a great question. But Armin gave you the perfect response. It already is. And thank you for that super chat. And our next one is from RG Rappaport saying, let's go.
Let's go.
We got months left at this point. So financial collapse. Thank you, RG Rappaport.
Thank you.
And user Z says, for the alligrams. No, thanks.
For the alligrams.
That literally feels like I have a hat in front of me and someone just, dropped $1 in there, like, hey, for the alligrams. Whenever people are like, for this. Yeah. No, I know. Thank you.
That's sweet.
Thank you, user
like
Z.
You're playing a violin and people are supporting it. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
Appreciate that. And Justin is our next super chat, who says, the only way to deal with a full-blown narcissist is to get them out of your life. They cannot be negotiated with. They cannot be compromised with.
Other people should do that. But if you're a live streamer, you should bring them into your life and show what they truly represent to the world. So that other people could see that they're a narcissist. So, but that's good advice for most people, unless your job is to expose people. And then, yeah. So people like us have to do the opposite. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Justin.
This is why, by the way, this is why we have more tolerance for BS. It's because we have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. And thank you, Justin, for the super chat. Fit over 50 Fitness, thank you for the jewels. And Wes Downer, thank you for the super sticker. Sent us 2 here. Appreciate that very much. Oh, they're different colors. Interesting. Thank you, Wes. Hope you're doing well. Who also said confetti. Thank you very much. We did it.
Yay, Ali.
Keeping track.
Confetti. Yes. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you very much. And Physengesis with all the another super sticker as well. Thank you very much. You guys are every day showing up. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Nail Bunny, who has gifted us 5 Liberty Politics memberships. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Nail Bunny.
Our next one is from Tin Lei. Says, if Europe goes full Islam, what should we do? Not live in Europe. Live in Iran. You'll be very far away from Islam in a free Iran. Very.
What I would say is never give up. Okay? Never give up on Europe. Fight back, save Europe. Here's the thing. A lot of people think Europe has fallen because it's going to become Islamic, right? I'm going to tell you something. Parts of Europe did become Islamic, and then Islam was kicked out. Parts of Europe became fully Islamic, ruled by Islamic law, ruled over by Muslims. And now those places, eventually those places were liberated. And they're no longer Islamic. So even if you have full Sharia rule, even if you see the flags, the black flags of ISIS, waving over your government building one day. One day Europe becomes that. And Islamic law becomes mandatory in Europe. It is still not over. Fight, fight, fight. Don't give up on Western civilization. It is never over. It is never over. Don't have this defeatist attitude that it's over, let's give up, we can't save it. If Europe has to give up, then did the Iranian people give up when Islam took over Iran? When the Shah fell? For 47 years we had Islamic rule. Did we give up on Iran? We're still fighting to free Iran. So even if we get to a situation when Europe is taken over completely by Islam, hypothetical situation, it is still not over then. It is never over. It is never okay to stop being patriotic, to give up on your country. It is never okay to give up on your country. Keep fighting for Western civilization.
Yes. You know, you're very pro-nationalistic.
Yeah, I didn't used to be. But now I am.
How times change. We have a very important update for you guys coming up regarding tomorrow. Looks like tomorrow is going to be a bigger day than I thought. So Scott Besson came out and said a few things. We're almost done with the super chats when we have about 3 more. This is, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it to you guys to hear for yourselves. Sayed, who gifted 1 Liberty Politics membership. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sayed.
Sayed's a big supporter. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Sayed.
And Shauna, who says, ibuprofen and snack funds for Ali's headache from being a Durka whisperer. Yeah, whenever I get a headache, it freaks me out because I never get headaches. Yeah, thank you. I also never take Advil or ibuprofen. So when I do it, it takes, I'll take 1 Advil. And if I'm in extreme pain, I'll take 1 Advil and boom, my pain's gone. Because my body's like, what the hell is this drug?
But do you get annoyed with the, going through these messages? Or are you finding it like, because to me, people are like, oh, Armin, how could you be fascinated by all of this toxic garbage? Like, why is this interesting to you? These people are crazy. I'm like, guys, a scientist who is studying cancer, right? He's fascinated by cancer cells. That doesn't mean that he, yeah. Are you fascinated by cancer? Does that mean that you're pro-cancer? No. Just like somebody who studies cancer and is fascinated by how cancer cells work is not pro-cancer, somebody like me who is studying these jihadis is not pro-jihad and is fascinated by how they spread and how they operate. It doesn't mean that we're pro-jihadi. We're fascinated by them, but it's good for us, some of us, to be fascinated by them so that we could go investigate them and come to you guys and tell you how to fight them, right? You're muted.
Oh, exactly. And thank you, Shauna. Yeah, it does take time. The only annoying part is like some people spam really hateful messages about Prince Reza Pahlavi in there. And that always annoys me. Yeah. That's about it. Thank you so much, Shauna, for the super chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Says,
Shauna's saying I get it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you get it. I know you get it, Shauna. That was a funny super chat, but I just wanted to use it as an opportunity to say. No, but I was wondering, Ali, other than those messages, are you fascinated like the way, like, by how they, their coping mechanisms, their narrative, the evolution of the way it changes, the way it tries to defend itself? Because there's a pattern.
Gets me, yeah, there is a pattern. Especially if you're there and you're reading these every day, you know what the mood is right now amongst the regime supporters. you know what it was last week. You know what it will be a week from now because you know where it's going. So I know
Yes.
what those Durkas in Iran are thinking and saying while I'm sitting here outside of Iran.
Yes. And Ali, you get fascinated. You're gonna get so impressed with yourself when you get to a point, which I think you might be already there, when you know what they're about to say before they say it in response to the news. Like, not only when you get to a point where you know what they're saying now, but you also know what they're going to be saying in a week from now before they know themselves. That's the point
I
that
do
you
think
realize, like, okay, yeah. Right.
When Trump announced economic D-Day, I was like, oh, what are they going to say about it? And then I go in and I'm like, wait, they're not even reporting on it. The Islamic Republic isn't reporting on economic D-Day. They're downplaying it. And I was like, oh, when they find out, they're going to, oh, yeah. Anyway, they're going to find out tomorrow, guys. We'll give you the update in just a second, what Scott Bessent just said tonight. Again, thank you so much, Shauna. Our next one is from Omid Salute, who says, what would happen once financial collapse occurs? Let me answer your question with our piece of news here. Scott Bessent announced today, as in 2 hours ago, he said, okay, it's giving me chills. Because if you guys listen to him talk, you're like, okay, get to the point. But if you read his written statements, you're like, holy crap, this guy's a supervillain. Okay, so he says, at dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. Nations that, in courting reprieve from Tehran, continue to replenish the very regime from which they seek protection and now exceed the limits of America's tolerance. That's there, Persian Gulf Arab countries. Any remaining tie to Tehran will hasten the economic ostracism of countries and entities, whether that tie be purposely constructed or willfully ignored. I hope that means secondary sanctions. And if, as the regime's grasp on power crumbles alongside its economy, Iran resorts to military action against U.S. forces or its Gulf neighbors, make no mistake, President Trump will respond swiftly and decisively. Everything I just said was, quote, word for word, what he just said 2 hours ago.
Wow.
At dawn begins an economic D-Day. There you go, Hamid.
It needs. I hope there's China is involved in that economic D-Day. I hope China is involved. I hope they're going after Chinese company, not just the teacup refineries, but the big ones and the banks, the big Chinese banks, and the financial institution. Hopefully, if not, it's not going to be complete.
Yeah. I mean, quick response, by the way. If financial collapse occurs, the people will come out in the streets. Whether you're a regime supporter or not, you're going to come out in the streets. And then also, Armin, you're right. Not only China, though. So there was three main culprits for the IRGC. There was UAE, Turkey, and China. These are the three countries that are the lifelines of the IRGC. The UAE is finally dealt with completely. China is going to be heavily targeted along with Turkey here. These are the main targets, in my opinion. And Turkey has some incentive. They got some F-35 deals coming up. Maybe they don't want to get on the bad side of Donald Trump here.
But the problem is that China is the hardest one to do because they use systems that is not controlled by United States, right? Turkey, Iraq, Pakistan, all of these countries, at the end of the day, the financial institutions they use, this goes with the SWIFT system, they're using US dollars. There are both the currency and the transfers of money are within the sphere of control of the United States, right? It's only China that has some level of trade in non-US currency to the level, and also uses some financial mechanisms like wiring transfers that is outside of the SWIFT system, that makes it more difficult for United States to just come out and try to stop things, right? And the only way to get them to stop, because they have the system, they have the financial institution, the wiring mechanism, and the non-USD trade to go around what the United States wants to do. The only way for United States to stop the Chinese transactions is to actually threaten sanctions against companies that have been too big for the United States to go after so far. And that requires a daring move by United States, because there will be a major reaction to that could also hurt the U.S. economy if they go that far. But they have to go that far for this to be complete.
That's secondary sanctions. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. Like, imagine if you bought, if you're a merchant in the Persian Gulf and you're Bahraini, and you just bought some goods, a shipment from the UAE, and you ask the UAE merchant, yo, where did you buy these TVs? And the UAE merchant goes, oh, Oman. I bought it from Oman. I'm an Omani merchant. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you buy them. And then you get slapped with sanctions the day afterwards. Why? Because the US was tracking it. And when you sold these now new TVs, you, the Bahraini, to another country, turns out those TVs came from Iran. You had no idea, but you're now slapped with sanctions. Those are secondary sanctions. Those are how they work. Chinese banks are going to get slammed if that's the case. Also, it'll be up to you to do your due diligence to find out where those goods came from and who you're giving them to, lest you get sanctioned. That might be what Scott Besson is referring to here. I really hope it's the case. If that's the case, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate somehow tomorrow.
Omid is saying Pooh Bear won't be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I mean, Pooh Bear could, you know, Xi Jinping could lessen his support. He could accept this, which is inevitable. He could accept it and have the pain be shorter for him.
True.
Also, yes, guys, those are London banks too. A lot of London money laundering does occur in London for the IRGC. Definite fact. Singapore, Hong Kong, London, you name it.
No, I mean, I think those banks are terrified of the United States. I don't think those banks are much more risk averse. Singapore, London, they do more deals with the United States than do with the Islamic Republic. They don't want to touch the Islamic Republic.
Correct. Exactly. That's why they're going to stop their operations.
Yes. There's so much more money to be made with the United States and the Islamic Republic. So the only reason, so here's the thing, if the United States puts pressures, even Chinese banks and big refineries to stop dealing with the Islamic Republic, they don't care. They would want to stop immediately, right? Because those banks are dealing, they have a lot more deals with the United States and US allies than the Islamic Republic. So they would stop immediately if the United States tells them to. The only problem is that the CCP would then get angry. Those financial institutions and those refineries, they just want to make money. They don't care about the Islamic Republic. So it's not the companies themselves that are the issue. It's the fact that the CCP has a lot of control over these companies, and these companies have to be worried about what the CCP wants from them and how the CCP is now going to react to this, to the America, not the companies themselves. The companies, their goal is to make more money without making the CCP angry, because the CCP has control over Chinese companies.
Let's see what the CCP says. I mean, this week they got to release some sort of statement. These things are instant. I cannot wait to wake up tomorrow and find out what has happened. Oh, hold up. Did Scott Besson? When is this post from? Well, this was 20 minutes ago. Hold up. Let's pull this up real quick. I haven't read what he just said, but Scott Besson just posted on X. Okay, let's see. President Trump dismantled Iran's military capabilities, destroyed nearly 100% of the factories, nuclear program. We are now entering the end game. At dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. Okay, he said that to the Financial Times 2 hours ago. He's repeating on an X. The Islamic Republic has subsisted by extortion. Yeah, so getting extortion from security guarantees. He's going after the Persian Gulf Arab countries here. He's actually throwing them a bit of shade here. The president has created the conditions to leverage every agency, every authority and action many assumed we would never summon. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains the tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. Oh, chills. Oof. All right, well, let's see what he does. Let's see what he does here. If he lives up to his words, and I do think he will. He's not someone who will just, spout a bunch of useless words. He really does put his actions behind them. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. I think I already know the title for tomorrow's video. All right. Thank you, Scotty B. Yeah, Jaywalk said, Scotty B is the new Captain America. That's good. We're going to call him that from now on. And Curtis West, who has renewed their membership. Thank you very much for choosing to stay with us. And Fun Sun says, make Europe great again.
Yes. Make Europe great again.
Thank you, Fun Sun. And Sayed, thank you for the jewels. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Sayed.
Casey Pierce, who said, praise be to Besant.
Praise be to Besant. Yes. I like that more than praise be to Allah.
Thank you, Casey. And Shauna says, funds for celebration. Wow. Shauna's finding my headaches, my celebrations. Okay.
Thank you.
How should I celebrate, Shauna?
Take a bath like Shauna. Look at her profile pic. Take a nice bath.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Shauna. I had to answer immediately.
Just another person I stole from Armin's chat.
Just another. Sure, never mind. You know what? It's okay.
All right. So, guys, that was us today. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back here within 24 hours. We're going to cover Economic D-Day tomorrow. Not only are we going to cover what it happens, you guys are probably going to hear the news before we go live, but we're going to cover why and how that expedites the Islamic Republic's fall. We could possibly even give you guys, some estimations on that and how exactly people are going to be reacting to it within the Islamic Republic. We're going to cover all of that. So please make sure you show up tomorrow. And the day after, we have a guest from Nada's Just Us here, FDD.
Yes.
All
guys,
right,
the FDD contacts us and tells us that they want to send us experts for our shows. They contact us. Isn't that great?
We're moving up.
Yes. All right. Guys, before we end the show, let me see the result of the poll. Okay, so I asked. Okay, so guys, people in my chat, if we have policies, it's not just because I am deciding it for everybody. I communicate with you guys to make sure that we're all on the same page. If I ever doubt that you're unhappy with the way that we're doing things in our chat, we'll do a poll and we decide together as a community on how things should be. Okay, so I did a poll and I asked, should we allow people with very opposing views from us here on our chat? And you guys have voted, and we got 80% saying yes, meaning that we should allow, and 20% voted no, saying basically that we shouldn't allow. So I'm going to end the poll here, and thank you to everybody who voted. So we're going to continue to allow that, okay? And I'm going to continue to communicate with you guys in the chat to figure out how you guys want things to be in our chat. Okay, so it's not just me deciding for you guys. We decided as a community together. Okay, is that fair? Let me know if that is fair. All right. All right. Thank you guys. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for supporting and liking the stream. The likes really help. And the comments really help. Sharing the channel helps. Somebody's saying, Army, we need to discuss the red lines. I don't know what that means. Oh, yes, we will discuss. We could do more votes in the future. So I'm sure that you guys are happy with how we operate. And people who don't like that, they don't have to be here. I just want to make sure that we're abiding by what the majority want. So with that being said, we'll see you guys same time tomorrow. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss it. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainian, Cuba Libre, Taiwan GIO, Long Live America.
Long live America.
Javid Shah,
Javid Shah.
Payende,
Payende.
Iran. See you guys. Sweet.